Good morning. Welcome to the Lee County Board of County Commissioners zoning hearing, comprehensive planning hearing. Today is Wednesday, May 7th, 2025. Please stand for pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Please be seated. Cecil Pendergrass, Vice Chairman. I'll be conducting the meeting today. Unfortunately, Commissioner Wayne could not be here today, our Chairman. And staff, you want to start with the first case?
Sure thing. Good morning, Commissioners. For the record, Anthony Rodriguez with DCD. Morning. Our first case this morning, sorry about that. First case this morning is DCI 2023-00053. This is the Babcock Lee Mixed-Use Plan Development. This is a request to amend the original 4,200 acre plus or minus Babcock Mixed-Use Plan Development, which was adopted by Resolution Z17026 as amended, to increase the number of dwelling units from 1,630 to 2,078, reduce the number of hotel rooms from 600 to 250, and increase the on-site preservation areas, including increases to both upland and wetland areas. Hearing examiner recommended approval with conditions and deviations as set forth in your packet this morning, and there were no participants of record. Staff and the applicant are here for any questions.
Great. Any questions for staff at this time? No? Would the applicant wish to address the board? Are you good?
I'm good. You're good.
Okay, thank you. We'll come back to the board. This is an Alva project, 4,000 acres. We had no participants, a little bit different than what we usually see in Alva with the 60-foot buildings, but hey, I'd like to entertain a motion.
Mr. Vice Chair, I'll move approval.
I'll second.
We have a motion, we have a second. Any opposition? No opposition. Motion carries. Thank you. Next case.
Good morning, Commissioners. Mary Sue Groth, Senior Planner with Lee County Zoning, presenting DCI 2024-00016 for the Modern Services CPD. The request is to rezone 1.3 acres from Ag 2 to CPD to allow for 16,000 square feet of Business Services Group 1 and accessory warehousing with a maximum building height of 35 feet. Properties are located at 11550 and 11570 Palm Beach Boulevard and reside in the suburban future land use category and the Caloosahatchee Shores Community Plan area. They are zoned ag, as we know. The case was heard before the hearing examiner on March 26th, and they have recommended approval with conditions, and there were 2 members of the public present at the hearing.
Great. I have a question. The property to the west of it, the photo, I know the property goes right across the street from Veranda. I'm trying to remember what that business is. What business is that?
That's an auto repair shop, and I believe that is the member of the public that's here today to speak.
Okay, that's what I thought. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any questions for the staff at this time? Okay. The applicant wish to address the board before we have public comment?
You can leave that.
I have to get the member of the public.
Oh, okay. Very good. Good morning, Alexis Crespo. I'm Vice President of Planning with RBI. I'm here representing the applicant. We have our entire team here. We do have a presentation. This will allow a local business to grow in Lee County. Modern Services, Derek couldn't be here today, but we're happy to run through a brief presentation, or you can hear from the public and the neighbor, and we can address maybe the concerns after that time, whichever is your pleasure.
Thank you. Any questions for the applicant before we call public comment? No? Okay, thank you. We have 2 participants of record. We have Deanne Sergio. Is that pronounced right? S-E-G-U-R-O.
You're welcome. It's okay.
Thank you.
Thank
Good
you.
morning, Commissioners. My name is Denise Segura. I have the auto repair shop next to the Modern Services where it's going. I'm going to show you a little bit of history. When FPL had put the station in, they had done some dredging of the river to get the thing to, they had done dredging to the river and had dispersed, and this is the drainage that was put in. And as you can see where my property is located, there was a canal dug back there and some culverts put in. I'm sorry, I'm nervous. And this is a progression of the imagery of how the water flowed from one end of the river to the other, with the drainage working very properly on April 25th of 2012. And currently, this is the most recent as September 20th, 2024. Behind my property there, you can see the water sitting, and behind 11-420, there's that green. That's where the water is retaining and staying as well, and you can see it's not flowing anywhere. This has been a concern for us, especially since all the storms have come through. With the water coming off not only off the road, but that ditch not being maintained back there, that water is becoming a concern to us. In one of the hearings back on 3/20/25, when FPL was doing the substation and that was going in for rezoning, Eric Letter, located at 11-420, had brought to the attention that we were concerned with the water drainage because we've had a lot of water retaining there and staying there. At that point, it was addressed that there's different officials or parties that are involved in that process during the development order, and they would be addressed. As of today's date, we haven't seen anything done with that. So as Modern Services is proposing this, my neighbor on my left is raised higher than I am. Modern Services will, I'm sure, be raised 11.5 feet per code on FEMA, and that puts me as a river in the middle. There's all these plans, I understand, are conceptual, but in their plans, they're also talking about having the water, any excess from their property, go into that back north side of the property, and that's exactly where the property has concerns. So I'm concerned with that area. I'm concerned with what's going to happen there. We have other planning and zoning going on around us that they have already raised, and with that canal not cleared out from the west side to the east side, I'm concerned with what's going to happen with that property there as well. How much more we're going to get because we're at the lowest point. So we've had pre-existing drainage issues. It's things that I have addressed since December. We're trying to get this solved, figured out. So I agree with growth, but when the growth affects somebody that's been there for 30 plus years, it makes it a hard thing.
Okay.
I know that code changes over time.
3 minutes? I'm sorry, your time is up, ma'am. I'm sorry, we have to call the next speaker.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Good presentation, though.
Thank you.
Savannah Letter? Savannah Letter? Is she here?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll come back to the board. Anybody have questions for that?
Yeah, Vice Chairman, if I'm really familiar with this area, obviously. If you look at the photo, original, I guess, aerial here, you can see the power line that runs down through there. And it looks like in that project, FP&L put quite a bit of fill in back there to build that new power line through there, which really does block off any water being able to run across that into this property or your business. But it's what's going to happen along that. I guess what's going to happen with Florida Power and Light on doing swells down that, is that material going to stay there, or was that being put there for just to build the new power line? But they did build a grade right down through behind this property and behind their business. So I guess the real question isn't what is going to affect this business as much as, or what's being done at FP&L is the real question. Not really, to me, this business. It's the question of what, with that being almost like a buffer now, with that being down there. So I think we need to get that addressed.
I don't know if the staff can answer that, the applicant is prepared to answer that as far as the drainage to the development stages of the project after zoning is complete. You want to address, can you address the water movement and management of the property?
Yes, I'm going to invite
In the development stages?
Stephanie Caldwell is our professional engineer. Certainly, we appreciate Ms. Segura's comments, and she did a great presentation for saying she was nervous. But we must get an environmental resource permit. We must get a local development order permit, which is going to design the stormwater system. Stephanie can speak a little bit to that. We must hold our water on site, and as part of that process, we're going to have to look at FPLs. If they have any ERP plans on file, we're going to have to connect into that. But I'll invite Stephanie to discuss it in a little more detail.
I mean, I believe the road water from 80 is already being deterred and being sent northeast from there, from the roadway, but the water, I guess the water, we're concerned with the water behind it and surrounding properties where that flow is going to go.
Good morning. For the record, Stephanie Caldwell, Greenside Engineering. Yes, this was discussed during the hearing examiner hearing. I can't really offer an evaluation on what FP&L does, but I don't disagree with what you've said. And that was actually discussed during the hearing examiner proceedings, that the applicant had indicated that he was more than willing to work with the neighbors and collaborate and maybe have a there would be more power in numbers for them to band together to coordinate with FP&L to find some kind of solution. I had also mentioned during the hearing examiner, when I looked at the LiDAR elevations for the subject property, it doesn't have a very steep slope, but it has a gentle ridge, I would say, like halfway back, and part of it sheet flows out to State Road 80, part of it sheet flows to the north. So as Alexis had mentioned, we are going to have some kind of stormwater management mechanism in place to store and attenuate, treat and attenuate the runoff, and have water management berms that will essentially retain our runoff on site before it's discharged. We preliminarily are expecting to discharge it to the north, but I will say that in its current condition, the way it sheet flows, when we have the stormwater management system in place, it will most certainly decrease that rate of discharge. So it will be a lesser discharge rate in the proposed condition than what is happening right now.
Does that answer your question, Mr. Greenwell?
It does. And again, I don't think this should affect this property because they are doing everything that they should do. It's really just that grade that was put in there for Florida Power and Light that I think should be addressed, but it's not, up to this, piece of property to do that. I can see where the issue is, but this should actually stop water from coming onto them with that grade being there, but you still got to have a way for it to get out.
Exactly.
And that's obvious. So, but I don't think it should affect this particular piece of property because they're following all the rules and all the all the stormwater flow or whatever. So, but that corridor, that should be addressed with Florida Power and Light, is where I'm going with it. It shouldn't be up to this individual to do that.
Unfortunately, as we heard from the testimony, that one property owner's been there 35 years, that property existing built under the condition. Today's condition is a little bit different, so this probably will be raised compared to the other surrounding properties, but unfortunately, it's not part of the conditions of the zoning application because that's through development stages. So we have to look as far as the uses. Commissioner Mullica, do you have a question?
No, I just wanted to make a follow-up to this, and just site development-wise, this 1.3 acre site isn't going to fix or make worse this 100 acre FP&L easement area. It's going to, they're going to have their own on-site water management issues.
Correct. And yeah, so we'll be isolated to say so, and like I said, it'll be a lesser rate of discharge that so we certainly won't be contributing to the problem. We'll be making it a little bit better. But like you said, it's 1.3 acres as opposed to a lot more.
Right. I wouldn't stand in the way of this development over this. I think they're two separate problems.
Yeah, and as Ms. Crespo indicated, we're going to have to get our local and state permits anyways that will review the stormwater management system in depth.
And to make the neighbors feel better about this whole process, we can't deny a zoning application based upon the conditions like this with the water, because that's through the development stages. But I'm sure the new owners will work with the obviously water management, FDOT because of State Road 80, and we'll obviously FP&L also to try to intervene to fix some water issues there.
Yeah, absolutely. And he indicated that during the hearing examiner that he's more than willing to work with the neighbor. He doesn't want to be a bad neighbor, so he doesn't want to do something that's going to negatively impact his business.
Right. Sure. Okay. Any other questions?
No.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll make a motion for approval.
We have a motion for approval.
I'll second.
We have a second. Any objections? No objection. Motion is carried. Thank you. Next case.
Good morning, Commissioners. Brandon Dunn with the Planning Section and Department of Community Development. I'm here this morning to talk about House Bill 1379 amendments. This is a House bill from 2023 from the Florida Legislature. These were county-initiated text amendments to the LEAD plan. The request or the purpose of these amendments is to implement the changes to Florida statutes as amended by House Bill 1379 in 2023. This is an environmentally focused piece of legislation that asked us to look at septic systems on properties of less than 1 acre in groupings of more than 50 or more. So that's what we did. There are 8 primary changes to the state statutes, and there were a number of amendments that addressed those changes to the state statutes. This table on the left shows the primary changes to the state statutes, and on the right are the amendments that we're transmitting, or that were transmitted back in February to the state reviewing agencies. This has been previously reviewed by the board without concerns. The BoCC voted to transmit these amendments on February 19th of 2025. During the state review process, Lee County received written comments from Florida Department of Environmental Protection, Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission, and the Florida Department of Commerce. We also received verbal confirmations from the South Florida Water Management District that they had no objections concerning the proposed amendments. Therefore, staff recommends the BoCC adopt the proposed amendments as provided in attachment 1.
Great, thank you. Any questions for staff at this time? Okay. Any public comment on this item? Marcia's off today. Okay, we'll come back to the board.
I'll move approval, Vice Chair.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Any objections? No objection. Motion carries. And we are adjourned. Thank you.